Okay, so here is the key for the demand homework. So you should have your homework next to you and a colored pen for grading, so that you can mark what you got correct and what you need to watch out for future homeworks. Okay, so for every demand shifter, you need a shifter if there is one, title, labels, and D indicators. Okay, so for this first one, demand for green jelly beans if the class decides they don't like the green ones anymore. So we title it green jelly beans because that's the name of the good we're talking about. Jelly beans would be incorrect because it's talking specifically about the green ones. And people just decide they don't like the green ones anymore. Okay, so this is a taste and preferences shifter, so change in taste and preferences. And then we draw D1, arrow shifting in to D2, so sideways arrow pointing in. Okay, so this is a 3-point question, 1 point for the labels, so green jelly beans, price, and quantity. So if you put all three of those, give yourself a +1. If you put your shifter as change in taste and preferences, +1. And then if you drew your demand shift in with correct labels D1 to D2, sideways arrow, you get a +1 there. If your arrow is pointing diagonally, then you get +0 for the shifter. If you're missing any of the D labels or they're incorrect, then you get +0 for that point. Okay. Then demand for dogs if cats become more expensive. So you got to think about how dogs and cats are related. I didn't tell you, so you have to write your assumption about that. So +1 for saying that you assume they're substitutes. I think that's the only one that makes any sense. But if you thought of it differently in a way that made sense and you wrote that, then you could still get this point. Okay, this is a point for the assumption. Okay, the shifter is change in price of related goods, so +1 if you put that. Title is dogs, price, and quantity. So if you wrote demand for dogs or something like that, that gets you +0 for the label point. And then demand increases, so D1, arrow out to D2. If you put that, you get +1. Again, diagonal arrow gets you a 0, missing any labels gets you a 0 on that point. So there are 4 points for that one. Okay, demand for dogs if dogs become more expensive. So again, we have dogs, nothing else, just dogs. Okay, PQ. So that's +1 for those labels. There's no shifter here, right? Dogs are more expensive, but there's no other reason why people don't want as many dogs. It's just they're more expensive. So that's a change in quantity demanded. So we put a D on the line, 2 dots. You can either put your arrow along the line like this, okay? Or better is to put it on the side. So price increase, quantity decrease. And you write no shifter or change in quantity demanded gets you +1. Okay. If you wrote D1 and D2 here, that is incorrect because there's only one demand curve, so there's only one D. So you would just get +0 if you did that. Okay. Then hot dog buns if hot dogs the meat becomes cheaper. Okay. So again, you have to write what you assumed about how they're related because I didn't tell you. So hot dog buns and hot dog meat are complements. So you can write change in price of complement or change in price of related good complement. Either one is fine, but there's 2 points there. 1 point for the change in price of related good or complement shifter, and then 1 point for specifying that they're complements. Okay. Hot dog buns is the good, price and quantity, so 1 point for the labels. Demand increases, okay, because hot dogs meat is cheaper, so people are going to buy more hot dog meat, and they're going to want more hot dog buns to go with their hot dog meat. Okay. All right, Porsches. People expect the price to fall in the future. So the price hasn't changed yet, so this is change in expected future price. We title it Porsche price quantity, okay? And so if they think the price is going to fall in the future, they don't want to buy it today, they want to buy it in the future, right? So the demand shifts in, okay? And then demand for oranges if they become cheaper. So we have the title oranges PQ. There's no demand shifter, right? They're just cheaper. So people are buying more, the change in quantity demanded, so arrow down, arrow out. As the price goes down, quantity demanded goes up, 2 dots. Again, you could put the arrow along the line, but along the sides is nicer. Okay, there's just 1 D. Okay, and then last one, price, quantity, title, cabbages. Okay, consumer incomes fall, and it tells us cabbage is an inferior good. So you don't need to write that as your assumption because it tells you what to think about it. Okay, so we just write change in income, but if you want to be safe, never hurts to write what you want to put there. If I didn't tell you whether cabbage was a normal good or an inferior good, you would have to write your assumption. There would be a point for writing your assumption. Okay, so as long as you, just think about how people use that good, and of course, if we listed it as an inferior good, then you should definitely say it's an inferior good. Otherwise, most goods are normal goods. So there's that. So if I don't tell you which it is, just make your best guess and just write which you assume, and that'll be fine. Okay. Oh gosh, what am I doing? I'm not thinking. Okay, sorry. Yep, I'm really in equilibrium mode with the lessons. Okay, so boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. Cabbages. Okay, so we have demand. All right, so it's an inferior good and incomes fall. So that means people are going to want more cabbages, right? Because they are nutritious and cheap and a lot cheaper than eating out. So people are going to eat more cabbages. All right, great job, guys.